So for our project, we did the Boston Celtics and really just continuing the legacy of the great historic team that is the Celtics.
And some background information and the branding on the Celtics. They have won 17 championships. And with all that, they have drafted the first African American player and they've started the first African American starting lineup. And that was pretty big back in the day. But now the GM now, Danny Ainge, has really brought the franchise from the ground up. We have had dark years, but now he has drafted a lot of key players to put us in position to hopefully make a championship run soon.
And then going into the products that they offer obviously just jerseys, the t-shirts, like sweatpants, shorts, things like that. They also offer sleepwear, sweaters, polos, hoodies, jackets, hats, really anything you can think of. What a lot of people find very enticing and they like a lot is the basketballs and the bobbleheads. The coins that are just basically just Celtics value coins, as well as just different posters with their favorite players on it, and their trading cards. It's also pretty funny that they have a swim collection too that consists of sandals, and bathing suits.
Now, the marketing strategy, they really try to treat fans like family. And what I mean by that is the fans can feel like, they're at home when they're watching games and not just like at a basketball game. And that's a huge thing to hit, especially with fans that have been there for a while. And the fans that have been there for a while have known the deep history, but maybe if you're a new fan, you probably don't know the deep history. But with like being like a family fan, I could say it could really help you get into basketball. And these marketing strategies can use the data analytics to help fans desire that passion that they probably have missed over the years or want to hit over the years watching basketball.
Exactly. And the marketing team, they really try to go after those fans' desires, to really show them that they value their opinions and what they like. So their marketing strategy is really just fluid. And the decisions are really not made on like the profit margins, but also just to win championships in general. For their social media, they have a huge presence on social media with 8.81 million likes on Facebook, 3.6 million followers on Twitter, and 5.4 million followers on Instagram. A lot of their posts consist of like game highlights, player announcement, game day announcements. And they use it to really interact with their fans. So they monitor how fans are reacting to their posts, and then they make decisions about where they want to move their marketing plan with, based off of this data. It also helps them measure how to add value to the fans, inside TD Garden, because it's a great platform to hear the opinions of fans.
Now, the pricing for Boston Celtics could be like the clothing is all comparable with other teams in the league, and they're all pretty simple because they're all run by Nike. But the regular season ticket prices can range up and down with prices, and it makes it good for like young fans that want to get into games and have like their parents buy them games for maybe like a birthday or something. Just really get the TD Garden packed again since the COVID season. But that's why they have season tickets. Now, season tickets can be very useful for getting, a group of people together for like 41 games that you have in a regular season. And the customer experience officers have surveys. So then, if you do go to games, you give those tickets away. So then they know for future on if they would give you the tickets again. And that can really benefit both them and you when you're watching the game.
And then for their market segmentation, their target market, really it's just broken up into families, their international fans, their young fans, such as like the Gen Z and millennials, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Also the loyal fans that are from Boston, as well as fans that are from outside of the Boston area that may have lived in the Boston area or just love the Celtics, and because of their rich history and all of their championships, it's really an easy team to love. And also they break it down into the season ticket holders as well, which we talked about with the customer experience officers. They really get a gauge on how well the season ticket holders like to go to the games and how much they'd be willing to pay to go to more games. And then most of the fans are diehard fans. But they really do try to make it so that these diehard fans really feel like they are part of the organization and a part of the family.
Now, the sponsorship, they have had two sponsorships since the sponsorship jerseys has become a thing in the NBA. And their previous one was General Electric, and the current one's Vistaprint. Now, at first, I didn't really care for the sponsorship idea because I thought it was going to be a lot bigger on the jersey. I thought it was going to ruin like the whole like old Boston, green and white, and just the old history that we had with these jerseys, because we have really made little to no changes to our jerseys, and that's what makes us really special in my eyes. But the General Electric and the Vistaprint have been a really nice little touch on the shoulder, and it wasn't as big as when I thought when they issued it at first, but it's kind of just grew on me. And when people watching games see that, they can support their brands and also support Celtics brands. And with that, it's a promotion in itself for both of the brands.
Yeah, and just to add on real quick to that, it really is a huge opportunity for the Celtics to grow, because the more people that end up watching the Celtics, the more valuable that this sponsorship becomes, and the more that Vistaprint and other sponsors would be willing to pay to get their logo on that jersey. So there's a real opportunity for the Celtics to carry on with a lot of success and basically just utilize their jerseys as free marketing tools. And then moving on to our SWOT analysis. So starting off with the strengths, they have a successful team history, as we've established. They have a really loyal fan base, which is hard to come by. And they have great broadcasting for fans who just watch the game from home. They also have world-class players that have been on their team throughout all of history. As you can see, that's Bill Russell and Kevin Garnett, just to name a few. Also Paul Pierce and Larry Bird. They've all stemmed these rivalries with a bunch of teams like the Lakers and the 76ers that really just makes Celtics basketball great to watch. Through the more recent years, they've established a great young core and a good head coach. And that has helped them make the postseason 7 years in a row and make a couple Eastern Conference finals runs as well.
Now, with strengths, there's always weaknesses. And they haven't really produced a finals run in almost 11 years. Now, yes, they have made the conference finals a few times prior to it, but they just haven't had that one team that was dominant enough to you can be confident that they can make a championship run. And they haven't really hit the international fan base yet. That's an NBA and Celtics issue that they both need to work on. And they can easily hit that if you just give a little bit more effort to going into international countries and really spreading out the brand of both NBA and the Celtics. The inability to close out games have been an issue that can also lead into locker room issues, but that's why we haven't made a real finals run, because we haven't really been able to close out on really good teams in the postseason. Not making move on top free agents and big names is also a huge problem. The last really free agent or big name that we really got was Kemba Walker or Kyrie Irving. And when it happened to the Celtics, it was really exciting, but nothing really else really happened from that. And we're not really that aggressive during it. Added features to the game to get younger fans into it, because the younger generation is really hard to focus on the games while they're there. So they just need to figure out something, or maybe just get a player that they would like, so then while they're watching games, they can be more attentive and want to watch the games. And the ticket price can be hard for some people to go. And it could be a little bit pricey, ranging from $35 to $110 to sit in the nosebleeds. And that can be really pricey for a family that's not financially supportive like that.
And then moving on to their opportunities that we found through a lot of our research and data collection, they've had the opportunity to develop their connection with the international fan base. It's really an untapped market that no one in the NBA has been able to hit yet. They also have the opportunity to sign a big name player, like Jane was talking about earlier. Kyrie, he didn't really work out, but it did just get fans excited about Celtics basketball. I remember hearing about it in school, and everyone was like, "Oh, we can't wait until the first game that Kyrie plays," and it just generated that buzz that you love to hear with the Celtics name. They also have the opportunity to work with a lot of charities and nonprofits in and around Boston to help build brand equity. And they could have the opportunity to offer like family package deals to make TD Garden more of a family friendly place. They can hire new championship experienced assistant coaching staff. I do like Brad Stevens as of right now. He's really got the guys into a great position where they really gel together and they feel like the classic Celtics team. But maybe some retired players who have won championships and know what the mindset takes in order to win championships will be a great addition. They also have the opportunity to have a new uniform that maybe fans could get the opportunity to customize as a new opportunity of like fan to Celtics or Celtics fans with like the team like relations basically. So that would be a good way to get the fans engaged.
Now the threats is like top players leaving the franchise threat, and like it's just hard to like really keep that one player in the franchise if he wants to go, and it's really hard to keep that. And with that, it's hard. It's hard. Like injuries really hurt players a lot, and if a key player falls down, it's hard to market them because then people can't really go enjoy a game if their team player is out. And with that, they just have to adapt with like social media, the marketing strategy, and just having our social. And finding a new way to attract new fans, like having a different view at like what fans can watch the game from, just like the younger generation. And because the older generation knows what basketball's all about, but the younger generation doesn't really know about it. And having that, like, how to adapt to social media, so then younger fans can also, enjoy games like by watching clips of Jason Tatum on TikTok or other things like that. And really focusing on the present team winning championships and having like their just having better drafting and hopefully drafting a championship team soon.
And then going on to our SMART goal. So our first SMART goal that was based on a threat of having to continuously attract new fans. So like we talked about in class, chasing Gen Z and the millennials. It's becoming more and more hard to do because they're getting bored with traditional sports. But for our idea to help attract the Gen Z and millennials is to provide a Celtics branded VR goggles that offer AI analytics. So we would first run out a survey to see if people and fans would be interested in this opportunity. And then it would be offered for both at-home use as well as in-game, like at the game and TD Garden use as well. Just depending on where you're sitting. It'll help the new fans learn the game faster by listening to the AI technology, understanding what shots are good shots to make and what shots aren't great shots to make, as well as younger fans are going to be more stimulated by the enhanced court vision and audio. At first, we'd roll it out to the public for as more of like an exclusive offer. So maybe like 100 people will get the opportunity to do it. But once we found the demand, we would start to roll it out as like a basic commodity inside of TD Garden. It would also be offered at home, so you could purchase these items like on Amazon and things like that, so that you'd be able to see the court from courtside view and hear all the analytics and the great broadcasting that Boston does have.
Our second SMART goal is based on our opportunities on working on charities and nonprofit around like Boston area. And it doesn't really have to just be about the Boston area. It could be just any charity that like even fans can take a survey on. Like if the fans' favorite, if it went to charity or a nonprofit organization, the Celtics can really spur out the brand there. And by doing this, it increases one, the charity, and two, the Celtics brand. And that's really helpful, and it's a really good look on the NBA and the Celtics in general. And it's also a bonus because we help the charity that we are talking about. And with that, the people's emotions, and it really has a really special feeling when you're helping someone in need.
Yeah, and so we would offer an annual survey that would basically be run every single year just to remain updated with the fans' favorite charities and nonprofits, really to get an extremely like engaged with the fans and show that the Celtics prioritize what their fans prioritize. And then moving on to our third smart goal. So based on the opportunity of offering like family package deals, so we would call it the Celtics family deal. So it'd be family discounted tickets that are offered. Basically, the Celtics would offer these upon review of their real-time ticket pricing dashboard in a way to help sell out TD Garden. The seats that they would offer would be out of earshot from the court because we know that sometimes the players can say explicit words and things like that, and that doesn't make it as family friendly. But since these tickets would be offered farther away, it would increase the family friendliness of the Celtics, like games in general, and help foster young fans' interest in the game at an early age, as well as increase ticket sales because just more people will be coming into the game. It could be implemented really immediately to just help with the low attendance numbers that the Celtics saw in the 2019-2020 season. More of like a new product offer.
And our final smart goal is developing the international fans. And we've been talking about this, me and Jason, for a while now during the PowerPoint and even not in the PowerPoint. But the hitting the international fans is a huge thing to us. And I believe that if we hit the international fans, that can help the NBA brand and the Celtics brand tremendously. And with this, you can have people from like all over the country enjoying, a Celtics game that maybe they didn't even know like they could enjoy. And what I mean by that is like by them giving like, signed jerseys, basketballs, memorabilia, they can become a Celtics fan, even if they live in like a country like Russia or like in England, some countries that are not as big and basketball's not as big there, but it can always be if you reach out there. And by hitting this home, you can like hit the young fans that like are trying to get into basketball and have like loyal Boston fans really like tell them that, hey, Celtics basketball is a great experience to be around. We want you to be part of this family. And the Celtics' big thing is family, and I've noticed that a lot. And that's just like kind of just the Boston culture in general, hitting the family perspective while watching games or even just being a fan of them.
And the Celtics, they can help grow this family really by using their data analytics to continuously like adapt their social media strategy, like catering to the likes and dislikes of international fans and a lot of their loyal fans as well. So just really staying adaptive and ready to be fluid with their ideas, because the way that people think and the way that people value different things, it changes almost every day and generation to generation. So through these data analytics, they'll be able to understand what fans like and why they like it and how that they can offer it even more. Some opportunities to include international fans would be like doing a contest that an international fan can win an all expenses paid for a trip to come see the Celtics play. That would help show that we value our few international fans and would hopefully spread the word of the Celtics to more international countries, as well as keeping our social media inclusive of all of our market segments, really, by giving away things like signed jerseys, basketballs, memorabilia, really giving back to the Celtics family as much as we can. And then these are our sources. And thank you.
Thank you.